Where the Wild Things Are is one of the most beloved children's books of all time. Its lean story, checking in at just over 300 words, has captured the imaginations of readers everywhere since 1963. In the 1980s, Disney, who owned the rights to this Maurice Sendak classic, used the book as an experiment to launch them into what they believed could be a revolutionary new age of hybrid animation, blending 2D characters with 3D backgrounds. This experiment failed not because it was bad, but because of who was behind it. This is the story of Disney's Where the Wild Things Are test. Our story begins in the 1980s with the development of a slightly more niche film in the Disney library called Tron. This movie was really the first to enlist computer-generated imagery as a storytelling tool. This movie captured the attention of modern animation legend John Lasseter, who was working for Disney at the time as an animator, and he felt that this was only the beginning for this new wave storytelling. He would regularly talk about this with a younger executive at Disney at the time who was the vice president of their live-action movie development named Tom Wilhite. Lasseter would tell him how he believed that the principles of CGI could be married to 2D animation to create something fresh that nobody had ever seen before. Because of these conversations, in 1983, Wilhite picked Lasseter and another animator by the name of Glen Keane to put together a 30-second hybrid animation test that merged Disney's signature 2D hand-drawn character animation with 3D backgrounds rendered in CGI. The hope was that if the test went well, the studio could make an entire movie using this method. The movie in question was based off the Thomas Ditch novella, The Brave Little Toaster, but the test footage to prove that this would work would be based on Where the Wild Things Are, which Disney also owned the rights to. And though it was never implicitly stated, Disney obviously wanted to adapt Where the Wild Things Are as well. And the implication seemed to be that if everything went well, Disney would also adapt Where the Wild Things Are in the same style at some point in the future. With the combined work of Lasseter, Keane, and the company MAGI Synthavision, the test was nearing completion later that same year, and the team was proud of their work. With Lasseter even stating at one point that, quote, "In 5 years, these tests will seem so primitive, they'll look like Steamboat Willie does today." Steamboat Willie was the first Disney cartoon to feature sound that was synchronized to its animation, which obviously is completely commonplace today. Essentially, everybody involved thought that this test was gonna be groundbreaking, but in a few years, it would look very quaint. Lasseter's direct superiors didn't see this merging of 2D and 3D as the future of animation, and during the development of the short, everybody involved kind of ruffled their feathers by going around their requests and disobeying their orders. As a result, the team was set up for failure. Mean-spirited gossip around the team would spread, and holes were poked in their work before they even screened the short. The pitch was presented to the head of Disney Studios, Ron Miller, and one of the animation supervisors that Lasseter had upset, named Ed Hansen. During the pitch meeting, Miller, who had essentially already been swayed by the naysayers, hit Lasseter and company with the ever-important question: how much would a movie animated in this style cost to make? When informed that it was about the same cost as a traditionally animated movie, he replied that he was only interested in computer animation if it saves money or saves time, effectively canceling The Brave Little Toaster, a potential Where the Wild Things Are movie done in that style, and anything else that could possibly be done in this form of hybrid animation. 10 minutes after the pitch ended, Hansen called Lasseter to his office and told him that since the movie wouldn't be made, his project at Disney was complete and he was fired. But Tom Wilhite was able to arrange for John to stay at Disney to finish the test footage until January of 1984. A sad ending to a situation that held great potential. But in a weird way, everything did work itself out in the end. The Wild Things test did get completed. The Brave Little Toaster got made as a 2D movie outside of Disney's control, and Lasseter did have input on it. And years later, Lasseter would wind up becoming a creative force within Pixar, which of course specialized in that same 3D animation he was so fascinated with, eventually rising through the ranks to become the creative officer for Disney Animation and Pixar for a time. But that's the story of the Wild Things test, and Disney's foray into hybrid animation. So until next time, thank you so much for watching, have a beautiful day, and stay Hemmas.